Welcome back. I know we're a few minutes late. Sorry about that. We're about, I think, about is it 5 minutes late? Sorry about that, guys. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time coming onto my channel, you're so much welcome. And today we'll be talking about tips and acts of getting scholarships abroad. And we started these sessions like 2 weeks ago, but we had some internet glitch, and we're about having that again, and then we had to sort it out. Hopefully, everything goes well. And yeah, so I'm going to bring on board now TFE. He's, like I said, very versatile and very knowledgeable about anything scholarships. Okay, so I'm going to bring him on now, and then we'll start. Okay. Welcome, TFE. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on board again. I know we had some issue the last time. Hopefully, it goes on smoothly. And so, guys, that's TFE, and is our guest for today. Yeah, you can introduce yourself.
Right. So my name is Fred. At the moment, I am a second year MPA student. I have already gotten a first master's degree from Ohio University. And of course, in my spare time, I share knowledge on scholarship and study abroad opportunities, visa interview tips, and generally life abroad. So my channel is TFE, and thank you for having me.
Okay. Thank you so much. We're glad you're here again. So we won't waste much of our time. We'll just dive into it. So guys, I'm going to be asking TFE some questions, and then he's going to be responding to us. And at the end of the day, we'll give him for question and answers. Okay, so just listen, and then you can be dropping your question in the chat box, and then we'll make it very quick. So my first question, TFE, I want, like I said, scholarship is something that people really, really do need, because we all know that the economy isn't smiling right now. And so everybody really wants to go, whether you're going to Canada, you're going to US, you're going to UK, is something that will be beneficiary, that will benefit every individual out there. So my question is, how can you actually start? What's the process, of what's the process of getting a scholarship? What are the things that we're supposed to do first before we can even say, okay, well, this is what we're going to do? So what's the process in the short?
Right. So I'm glad you asked. The first thing to do, going straight to the point, is to be able to gather your document that is required for your application. And you also have to know that scholarships, acquisition differ from university to university or country to country. So the same process that goes into acquiring a scholarship into the UK, Switzerland, or any other Germany, any other country might be different from how it is in getting a scholarship to Canada or maybe the US, right? So the first process is to be able to put your documents together. So assuming you want to get a scholarship into the study in the US or Canada, generally what you need is your transcript to show that indeed you've completed some level of education. So assuming you are looking for a master's degree or a PhD, it means that you should have probably have an HND or maybe a bachelor's degree. So by document, I mean your transcripts, recommendation letters, which normally are three, your certificate to indicate that you've actually graduated, and then also you need a statement of purpose, a statement of intent, or a motivational letter, and a resume or CV to attach to it. And so with the US and Canada, this is how it works. And it's very easy to work on that because you gain admission into the university or program you want to study, and then the university will employ you as a teaching, research, or graduate assistant. So they pay your fees and they pay your stipends either monthly. They pay you stipends either monthly or bi-weekly. So unlike other countries where you probably have to gain admission, the school doesn't offer you the scholarship, and then you go and look for an external scholarship. For example, in the UK, we are looking at the Chevening scholarship, the Mastercard scholarship, the Commonwealth scholarship, and any other scholarship to support yourself. So basically, you start by putting your documents together.
Okay, thank you so much. That was very like straight to the point. So, guys, you have heard the documents you need. Firstly, you need to get those documents ready. Okay, but I just want to ask a question. I know in Canada here, some for you to some organizations they'll tell you they need some credential evaluating like WES, ICAS. Is this applicable for scholarship programs as well?
Right. It highly depends on which university or which program you're applying to. Right. So because sometimes people have probably HND, but we all know that to apply for a graduate program like a master's or a PhD, you need minimum bachelor's degree. So if you have a 3-year HND, then to be able to be competitive, your transcript or your credentials have to be evaluated to meet the standard of the Canadian education system or the US education system. Now, if you want to also want to study in the US, probably you have a low CGPA. Now, if your transcripts are evaluated, it more or less like left your CGPA a little bit. So it's positive for you if you want to go through that. Unfortunately, it's quite expensive, but I would highly suggest that if you have an HND or you have a low CGPA, please go through the transcript evaluation or credential evaluation. It makes life a bit easier for you.
Okay, thank you so much. So that said, basically, I'm just going to break this down. So that said, if you're an HND holder or you graduate from a degree in the university with a 2.2, basically, because when you say 2.2, so that means your CGPA is low. So it's advisable that you have your credentials evaluated. In fact, if I were to say, I'll tell everybody just have your credentials evaluated to give you a better stand or a chance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you have mentioned certain things, but how do you determine your eligibility? How can they really say, okay, I'm eligible for this program, I'm eligible for this scholarship? Because I know that scholarships varies, right? And
Right.
is it that do they have to apply first, or they have to look at it, or they will go on the school and say, okay, this is what they have, or this is what they are requesting for, and to see if I meet it. But if they don't meet it, what would they do?
Right, this is a good question. Now, every application has its own requirements, right? So, if you want to study, let's say, a master's in public administration, that's what I'm doing at the moment. Then, whichever university you want to study that in, you go to their website. They have their application requirements. So, you have to go through the requirement to see what they want you to submit. Now, if there are certain things you don't meet, a typical example is that some universities will require that you have an English proficiency. But let's say you're from Nigeria, you're from Ghana, Kenya, where English is your first language. It means that you can easily have a one-page document which says that you did your undergrad and your high school in English, so you can write and speak English proficiently. You don't need to search for IELTS or maybe a TOEFL or anything like that. And so you have to talk to the one in charge. If it's a university or a program you're applying to, there's definitely a head of department, a director of the program, or maybe a faculty member. Hey, my name is this person. I have this qualification. I'm interested in this program. And will I be, considered for admission if I apply? Would I be considered for other scholarship opportunities available for me as an international applicant? Right. So there is always somebody to talk to. So I always tell people that please don't submit your application if you have not had a conversation with a faculty member or the director of the program or even the admissions office in the university that you want to apply to. So basically, by checking their requirements on their website, but sometimes, even though it's an advanced country, but most of the information on the website might be archaic. So you need to speak to someone, have an email conversation. Sometimes you can even pick a phone and call them. They always have their phone numbers, their email address, their office numbers, their address on the university's website, including their pictures. So most universities, if you go to any department website, they have the faculty catalog where you see all of them. So you go in and search for the one in charge of the admission, and then you pick the email, and then you shoot them an email. That's it.
Oh, that's good. Thank you so much. I know here in Canada, majorly, like even if you want an admission or you're just wondering, the cost of tuition and all those stuff, or you see, because some of these schools here would also have internal scholarship. They call them bursaries, and you could just shoot them an email, and they're always, quick to respond. They will definitely respond back to you to tell you, okay, you're qualified for this, we've assessed this, or if they are not in that position to always, respond, they would refer you to the right person. So, guys, yeah, that's a good one. Always just make that research, make a little effort by sending an email and wait for a response. So that's a good one. So now we also said something about what's the guarantee that HND holders. I'm specifically saying HND holders because I know there's this discrimination between HND holders and the degree holders because they see them more as the diploma kind of thing, right? So,
Yeah.
but what's the guarantee that a HND holder would secure scholarship, to study abroad? And must it be a university? Could it be a college or something?
Right. So I have, I'm glad you asked this question because I have a video on my platform that I explain all the opportunities available for HND holders. Now, let me limit myself to Canada and the US. The first one is that as an HND holder, which means you have like a 3 year, studies, you can apply for a bachelor's degree. Remember that the minimum qualification to apply for a bachelor's degree is, having a high school. So what it means is that if you have a HND, you are way above that. But sometimes due to age, the acquisition of visa will become a bit challenging if you are a bit older because you have gone through high school and now have an HND, probably have some work qualifications and all that. So the next option that I advise people to go for is an accelerated program. Now, accelerated program is such that the normal bachelor's degree is for 4 years. A normal master's degree will be for a year or two. So with accelerated degree, you combine a master's and a bachelor's in 5 years. So if you have an HND, this is a good opportunity for you. Now the next thing is that you can shoot for any of the master's degree programs. But since you have a 3 year bachelor's degree, a 3 year program, you're going to compete with people who actually have like a bachelor's degree, which is 4 years. So the 3 year and the 4 year wouldn't be able to match. So what gives you an advantage is that please evaluate your transcript so that you can match up with those who have 4 years. And most importantly, if you have the resources to, I would also suggest that you sit for GRE. So imagine you have an HND, you evaluated your transcript, you sat for GRE or GMAT, you have an upper hand to gain admission even from the HND into a PhD program. So if you have an HND, this is what I will highly recommend that you do so that you find yourself very competitive in terms of gaining the admission and scholarship.
Thank you so much. You just mentioned something about GMAT and Gray. I can
Yeah.
tell you for sure that for my country, not so many of them are even interested in writing the IELTS exam. Talking about Gray or GMAT, we all know how tough that is.
Yeah.
So, given that, is there any other thing that they can do aside from? I know it's always good to be, competitive, especially when you
Mhm.
don't have enough credentials to prove yourself. So,
Yeah.
having those things will kind of match you and make you at par with fellow people that have such a credential. But is there another way they can go about it? Do they really have to do the grade or and the GMAT?
Right. I'm glad you asked. There's always an option. Personally, I did not sit for any of these, and probably if you ask me, I wouldn't. Right. So one of the things is that it's not every department or every program that require the GRE or GMAT. So if you don't want to sit for it, it means that please opt for programs that makes the GRE optional or do not require it at all. So maybe you might be specifically interested in a specific program. However, the program requires that you sit for the GRE. Unfortunately, you don't have the resources or even sometimes the time to be able to sit for that. Then what you have to do is that please opt for programs related to what you did that do not require this credential so that you get in. Now, when you get in, you take it from there.
Okay, thank you so much. So, guys, you heard him. I think most important thing is for you to get ready. If you have to, they say if you have to eat something, then you have to work so hard for it.
Yeah.
Nothing comes easy, so you have to put in much effort. So, but I just want you to quickly share the kind of the types of scholarships available for people out there. I'm not saying everything, but I mean, let's just have a feel of the types of scholarships that we have there that either once you apply, you can use for Canada and also use for US if possible, or does it have to be different? I don't know. Just share some light on that.
Right. So let's talk about Canada because I know a lot of people want to come to Canada.
That's
Right.
right.
So yeah, let's talk about Canada in terms of the Canadian bachelor's degree level. There are always merit-based scholarships that you qualify for if you apply into the program. Now this is how it goes. Get your documents ready. Look for the Canadian university. Let's say University of Guelph, like that you are interested in. Then you have to go to the university's website, find the admissions office number, the email of the admissions office or the director of the program. Shoot an email. Hey, my name is this person. I have a WASI results. I'm interested in this program. Will I be considered for admission? You can attach your CV or your WASI results to the email. Would I be considered for admission? Are there scholarship opportunities available for me as an international applicant? They will get back to you. They will let you know all that you have to know. And then sometimes they can even assist you go through the application process, or even arrange for a meeting, like a Zoom meeting, have a conversation with you and be able to advise you through the process. Let's talk about the graduate program. The same way, as a graduate student, you'll be employed as a teaching, research, or graduate assistant, or maybe you're on some sort of a fellowship or a research program. So what it means is that if that position is available in the department where you want to apply to, they will let you know. So before you even put in the application, you know that after I gain the admission, I am going to occupy this position as a teaching, research, or graduate assistant. A typical example is that in my previous university, I was a teaching assistant. What I did was to, assist a professor to be grading, marking, script, and any other assigned research. And currently, I am a research assistant. So my school fees are being paid for, and then they pay me stipends every 2 weeks. So basically, that's how the scholarship works. And so to be able to get this, talk to somebody in the department you want to apply to, ask about it, and then you put in your application. In terms of other countries like maybe Germany, UK, where maybe you want to study at the LSE, which is the London School of Economics and Political Science, you can simply email the director of the program, gain admission, and then opt for either the Chevening Scholarship, where they open yearly, the Commonwealth Scholarship, or the Mastercard Scholarship, which could help you go through the program after you've gained admission into such a program. So it's a simple process. However, you have to be very determined and eager to do this. Nothing comes easy, but once you are determined and know that you wouldn't be the first person to go through this. A lot of people have been through. Some years back, I was staying somewhere in the northern part of Ghana. Now I'm here, right? It comes with a determination. You wouldn't be the first person to have a challenge going through the process. There are a lot of people that have done it. So you reach out to people, talk to people who have been through the process, who are studying in where you want to study. I know there's a Nigerian almost everywhere in the world. Talk to people who have done it, so that it makes it easier for you to, also go through not facing the challenges people went through.
Hmm. Thank you so much. And that's that. I think I had a live yesterday on TikTok. I was still saying the same thing. Before I came here, I didn't really have enough information like this. Like I wasn't so keen on coming, on the internet to be searching. But now things are it's so easy, and you can always come research, before you jump on board. So it's very good. Please make sure you do that research. It's very important. So now takes me to another question. Some of these scholarships, especially in Canada here, there's some scholarships that you get, and they will tell you that you have to go back after your school. Is this applicable to, all scholarships, or is just for some peculiar scholarships? And what these kind of scholarships do you have? Can you tell us some of them so we can just avoid them in totality? Like nobody wants to go back, right? You get the
Right.
report.
So there are a couple of them. It comes with some responsibilities that you have to accomplish. For example, the Mastercard scholarship is such that you have a responsibility or to give back to the society you came from. The Chevening scholarship, there is a part of it that says that after you are done, you need to go. So the Chevening scholarship, there's a part that says that after you're done, you need to go back and give back to your home country or the society you came from, right? So some of these scholarships, they have their strings being attached to them, and sometimes there's a way around them. So if you do not want such sort of a bar on you, then it means that you have to be careful when opting for some of these scholarships that restricts you, that afterwards you need to really go back to your home country. But in terms of the US, when you gain a scholarship into the school covers everything. And the idea is that you are a non-immigrant, and so after your school you have an opportunity for to work for 3 years if your program is STEM. If you work for 1 year,
Mhm.
your a non-STEM program, and there are other opportunities that you can explore once you are in the country.
Okay, so just so I get it right, so in the States now, once you're done with your program, your research, whatever, and then so you're only allowed to stay 3 years, and then you have to go. But do you have to go back, or you can get a job?
Right. So I'm not an immigration attorney or a U.S. official, but the general information out there is this: like if you are done with your program in the United States and you did a STEM related program. By STEM I mean science, technology, and all that. So if you and mathematics, if you're able to, if you had such a program, then you have what we call OPT, which is optional practical training. So if you are done with your program, you have an opportunity to work 3 years in a country. Now, if you are done and probably you want to continue school, you meet the love of your life, you get married, and you get a job that the job that you worked in for 3 years, they see that you are a potential that they can maintain you, then that sort of gives you another opportunity to be able to explore, a permanent residency visa and all that. But if your program is a non-STEM, it means that you have an opportunity to work 1 year after your program. So if you did a bachelor's degree, which is a non-STEM, then you work 1 year. Then if you feel like you want to do a master's degree or whatever, then you can continue with that. If other opportunities come your way, then you can explore them.
Wow. Hmm. Canada it is then.
Yeah.
Canada it is then. Canada is a lot easier. It's just that it looks like we really do not have those enough grants and
Yeah.
scholarships when compared to the states. So basically I think all these are the questions I have, and you
Mhm.
pretty much touch base on everything I have written here. I'm just going through to be sure that I've asked all the questions. Okay, one more last thing. What is covered generally under a scholarship, like a normal random general scholarship? What is covered under it?
Right, that's a good question. Depending on what type of scholarship. So, if you have an opportunity to get a scholarship like the Seven scholarship, the Mastercard scholarship, the Commonwealth scholarship, it covers from your flight ticket to accommodation to stipends to your fees to living expenses and all that. But mostly in Canada, in the US, your plane ticket may not be catered for. Your visa application may not be catered for. What it caters for is your fees, which is your tuition, as well as stipends, which you can use to cater for the other stuff, which is accommodation and other things. So it depends on the type of scholarship you're going for. And, it actually differs if you're coming for a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and all that.
Hmm. Okay. That's a good one. So everyone, that's all the questions I have. But I'm just gonna see if we have some messages here. Good evening, Timmy and Fred. Hi, good evening, Patrick. I'm not sure we really do have any message here, and even though we have wanted to stay 30 minutes, we still have about 8 minutes. We still have about minutes here, so there's no question here because we don't really have people on live right now. But okay, so let me just ask you some questions. Like you said something about accelerated, right? So that's like combining your degree and is it
Your bachelor's degree and master's degree.
your bachelor's degree and master's. This is for HND holders, right? So that means if they are done with the HND and they don't have enough qualification to go, so that's like they are applying for a bachelor's degree alongside with the master's degree, right? And
Right.
then it's now streamlined into like maybe it's supposed to take maybe like 5 years. Let's just give examples. So it's gonna take like 2 or 3 years. Is that it?
Right. So it's basically for somebody who have an HND and still doesn't probably have the resources to go through the transcript evaluation. Transcript evaluation could cost you around $300 or so. So if you don't have what it takes to go through, it means that there are still other alternatives available for you. Even if you are done with high school, like you have a WAEC or WASI resource, then and you want to still combine masters and bachelors at the same time, you still have an opportunity to put them together. So instead of 4 years and going for a master's degree for like 2 years, you can combine them into 5 years or maybe 4 years and you're good.
Hmm. Okay. Is one more question before I start reading questions. Is there any preference given to people that have studied maybe in what I mean some of these countries? Maybe you study in Canada, you study in the UK, and someone like me, I'm looking at I don't want to come to US anyways, but let's just say US as an example. Is there any way they can waive some, give you some credits stating that, okay, you've done this, so we're going to take some of this credit so the cost load can be reduced. Is it possible? Did they do that there?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, for example, if maybe you start a bachelor's degree, but you're not done yet, if you're done with like 2 years and you're left with 2 years to go back home in maybe Nigeria or whichever country you're watching us from, then you can do what we call a transfer. So, if just that it has to be within the same program. So if you're studying maybe bachelor's degree in biology, and then you are done with 2 years, you want to come and continue in the States or in Canada, then you can apply for a transfer. You transfer your transcript from your previous institution to the new one, and then you come and continue like that. So there's definitely such opportunities at any point in time for anyone.
Okay, that's good. We'll look into it if at all we're planning to come to the States. Okay, so let's just see. We have a few questions here, so we'll just look at it and then we'll just wrap it up for the day. And this is said. Okay, I think I went so fast. Let me see. Okay, said, please, any idea about Sweden? This is from Patrick. Said, any idea about Sweden Master Scholarship and how to go about it? Are you aware of that?
Right. So the Swedish government have a type of scholarship that you can also apply if you meet the requirements. So all that you have to go do is to go to the government website and then look out for the opportunities, whether you're looking for a master's or a bachelor's degree, the scholarship that are available for you. And sometimes you would have to probably translate your transcript into their language to be able to qualify for that. And usually when you're going to a country that has such a language barrier, it's a bit complicated and all that. But if you still want to study in Sweden, I have a couple of friends who are in Sweden, which is a great opportunity that you have to go for if you want it.
Yeah, just to add to that, I was just talking to a friend who is actually studying nursing in Sweden as well. And I was shocked when she told me that she first had to learn the language. And I mean, she was really speaking fluently. And she said everything they do is in Sweden. Although I'm still trying to bring her on board to share, experience and, everything. So yeah, that's about it. The first thing, personally, I'm not a language person. So it's going to be a no-no for me. But I mean, not everybody, some people are really language people and they could grab in a matter of time. So yeah, why not? I think I should even persist and see how I can bring her on board.
Right.
Okay. Said this is from Aringo. He said, I have a degree in civil engineering, but I would like to have masters in Haiti. How would I make the transition?
Right, that's a good question. The good thing about graduate school is that you don't necessarily have to have underpinning or a bachelor's degree in the field to be able to do your graduate studies in that. So people have master's degree in economics, and then yet they can do a second master's in IT or something. You have a bachelor's degree in agriculture, you can still do something. So it's just a matter of tuning your statement of purpose to suit why you want to have such a switch from civil engineering to IT. And I think there's not much of a difference between civil engineering and IT.
That's
So
right.
it's quite easy. Look for the program you're interested in, talk to the director of the program, try and have a good SOP that would be able to explain your switch from civil engineering to IT, and you're good to go. Thank you for asking, though.
Yeah, and I think another thing is if this person in question is having any experience in IT, that would also help you boost your chances. I think so. That's what I believe.
Right.
So what are some good skills to apply to right now for someone like me with low GPA and in need of graduate assistantship?
Right. So I keep on telling people that at any point in time, excuses are in abundance. Like if you want to give yourself excuses, you can find thousands of reasons why you don't want to do something or can't do something or would not be able to do something. So I mentioned a lot of documents, if you listen to us from the beginning, that you need to put together to be able to start your application. Now, your CGPA and for that matter, the transcript is only one component of this entire document. So you don't have to base your whole assessment on that. There is an SOP, there are recommendation letters, there is a resume, there are other English proficiency letters. So if you have a low CGP, all of us have weaknesses. There are definitely some weaknesses. If you're a human being and you have one finger cut off, it doesn't mean your entire body cannot function. So nobody wants to get a low CGPA in the first place. So that shouldn't be a problem. focus on the other components or the other parts of the application document where your major strength will lie in. Sometimes you can even, people can get low CGPA because of ill health back in school or something happened and, it caused that. It doesn't mean that you are not good to qualify for an assistantship. So focus on the other components of the application. And we already stated that if you have a low CGP, and most importantly, if you had a receipt, one other thing to push your CGP up is to have the transcript evaluated. So you can have a 2.3 CGPA. When you evaluate it, you can get like 2.5, 2.6 thereabout. So please do that. And also, be confident in yourself that you have to push for something, especially if you are putting in applications to schools that do not require any application fee. If they admit you don't lose anything, why don't
That's
you give it
right.
a shot? Right. So yeah, basically that's it. And I'm glad she asked such a question.
Yeah, that's good. Should I get a loan from a loan service? Like, well, if you're applying for scholarship, why would you need a loan? Except of course you don't get the scholarship. That's where you would need a loan. So why not try the scholarship route first? And if it's not forthcoming, then I would say, yeah, you could get a loan. So yeah, most people are getting loans right now, and I think I also did a video about that. Yeah, Empower. Yeah, you could definitely. Do you have anything to say to that, Fred?
Right. So that should be your last resort because the
Yeah,
scholarship is far better than, getting the loan.
a
So
loan.
if the scholarship does not work for you, you have your document set and the only option left for you is to get a loan to be able to go through the process successfully. Why not? Yeah.
Okay. She said, what is the best time to submit an application to get a graduate assistantship? Can I still get an assistantship in summer?
I would highly suggest that you check that video on my channel. You see, it is back in Africa that there was only one route for admission. If you miss it, you have to wait for next year. But
That's
in
right.
advanced countries, at any point in time when you are ready, there's something that we call rolling admission. What it means is that at any point in time when you are ready, submit your application. They will consider you for admission. So definitely, the major semester is always the fall semester. There is the spring semester, which begins in January. There's summer. There's even early summer, late summer. So whenever you are ready, you wake up and you feel like, okay, I want to study abroad. There's always an opportunity.
Yeah, but before then, you have to start researching on the school and start
Right.
planning. Planning is very, very important. Like you can't start like say you want to start in January and start now. Like give it months ahead, even a year ahead, and start planning so that everything will work together for you. Who said this is from Patrick said the transcript to tender is it an official transcript or a student copy? I believe this is basically going to be dependent on the school you're applying to, really. So they really want to decide if they want you to send a student copy or they want official transcript from the school. In Canada right now, most of this transcript they will tell you, okay, you can just send a copy so far it's notarized. When I say notarized, means that you're taking your original copy and a copy of your original copy to a lawyer for them to stamp it, and that's showing that okay, I'm verifying that I've seen the original copy, and so they're stamping on the photocopy, and that will be enough for Canada. But I don't know about US. Is that the same thing for US?
If what? I didn't get that question very well.
So she said, the transcript to tender, is it an official transcript or a student copy? Usually you have a student copy or you have official transcript coming from directly from the school,
Mm.
from your own school, university back home to the school you are intending to go to. But in Canada, is you are allowed to either do official transcript or do a student copy. But if you are doing a student copy, it has to be verified. It has been notarized by a lawyer or a notary public here in Canada. So I'm asking you, is it the same thing for the US?
Right.
Can they use a student copy or they have to get it from the school?
Because universities differ in terms of the admission process, and so some universities like Ohio University, my first university, would allow you to upload the copy that you have, not necessarily notarized, just for the admission purposes. But once you get admission and you get into the country, you have to be able to directly send your transcript from your school to the university. So it differs from university to university. Remember that you need to go through the admission criteria or the requirement to know what the university requires before you start your application.
To avoid all this, I'll just say, guys, just assess your credentials. That's all. Use words, use ICAS. That saves you all the stress. And you can always, at every point in time, request a copy to be sent to the school. So you won't have to be going back, back to your school or, going through all the stress. Just assess your credential. It saves you a lot. Trust me, it
Yeah.
saves you a lot.
Right.
But what should the letter to faculty contain? This, do you want to take
Right.
a
So just a normal message like, hey, my name is this person. Maybe you ask how the person is doing, not necessarily a letter. We are talking about an email. So, hey, how are you doing? My name is this person. I have this qualification. I'm interested in the program. So you express your interest in the program, and then you ask about admission and funding. Your first email shouldn't be too long. Is When it is bulky, it makes it very difficult to read and probably respond to you. So you want to limit it and make sure you pay attention to the very important element of writing a good email. Remember, they don't know you, so however you write speaks a lot about you. So your first approach should be good. And so you should be able to, have a good subject for the email. Remember, you don't type in capital letters. It means you are screaming, which is rude, and pay attention to spelling mistakes, punctuations, and all that. And it should be, very simple email, and you're good to go.
Okay, so this question is for Canada. I said, if one has an OND and wants to come to Canada, what are the chances that such can get a scholarship? Well, Williams, I would say for sure to get a scholarship with OND may be next to impossible. I'm sorry to say that, but it's just a fact. For a fact, what you can do is apply to those colleges, and when you apply to those colleges, you may be lucky to get bursaries, and it may not be offered to you immediately, but once you get in, they also give you a window period for you to apply for those bursaries, and those bursaries are always a lot. The only problem is it takes pain now for you to be applying one after the other, but I mean, if you have a kind of a template, they're almost similar, almost the same thing. Fill the
Right.
form, have a template, why you need that, bursary. So even if it's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, there still is going to go a long way. But for a complete scholarship, I may not. I don't know. Maybe you want to try the Commonwealth. Of course, that one you have to go back to Nigeria if, or you go back to your country wherever it is. Once you're done. But for scholarship or OND, no, I don't think that may be possible. Okay. Um, said, thank you so much. Be mightily blessed. Oh, thank you too. I'm truly grateful to you for the wonderful support with me this year. Oh, Fred, you want to say something to
Yeah,
Aringo?
it's a blessing. I appreciate that you are expressing your gratitude here. God bless you, and we hope that you're able to make it through the process successfully. If you need assistance, you can definitely reach out to any of us at any point in time, and we'll see how best we'll be able to assist. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aringo. It's so thoughtful of you. Um, and fee paying colleges or university I can apply to. Okay, so basically, if you're looking for a low college or university in Canada, look towards the rural areas, and I'm going to give you some of the provinces. Prince Edward Island, go to New Brunswick. I cannot spell all these things, but just say go to New Brunswick, Yukon. These schools, they are really cheap there. Memorial University is also very cheap. Or Memorial University, like I said, is a university, but maybe I'm not sure they will be. I'm not sure if they would be accepting the OND because it's not HND. But if you're looking for college, you can do New Brunswick Community Colleges. So you see, every of these province they have colleges. So what
Right.
you will do is go on Google, okay? Go on Google and say, you firstly, like I said, you always have to identify the province you want to go to. I said that on TikTok yesterday. Identify that province, because if you say at large, it will bring us so much and you'll be so overwhelmed. So identify the province you'd like to go to, okay? And when you're thinking about that, think about provinces that do provincial nominee, or provinces that have job that that once you're done, you'll be able to secure a job, right? Because the goal of this is, once we're done with our school, we want to get our PR, because in Canada, once I get here, this you just give yourself timeline, right? And you're achieving it, be ticking it off. Okay, I'm achieving it. So go to all those Atlantic regions, okay, Nova Scotia. Dalhousie University is also a good place. For each province, I shall know that there's always a college there. Okay, so you can now search. But for those cheap ones, just try NBCC is very cheap. Brandon University is also very cheap. You can try it there. Memorial University is also very cheap. Yukon University is pretty much new. It's also cheap. So yeah, it's just that they are the extreme side of those cold parts of Canada. Canada is cold generally, or they are the extreme part of it. Saskatchewan. You can try that. University of Virginia as well. Yeah, University of Alberta is not bad as well. They also have a lot of scholarships, and University of Calgary. There are a lot of them out there. So get to work, and I'm hoping you're able to get one. Okay. Said, please, can I get external scholarships that I apply for to study at US? I don't know. Victor, Fred, do you want to answer that? I'm not.
Yeah, sure. It depends on which university or what program, what level. So, Victor, if you can make us understand, is it a bachelor's degree? Have you gained admission already? Which university? So that it will limit, the because if I'm going to state anything, it's going to be general. So, if it's maybe University of California, Berkeley, then you are looking to maybe the Mastercard scholarship. Maybe Arizona State University, you can get Mastercard. So, there are definitely a lot of external scholarships.
Okay, and that's about it for today, and we'll be rounding up now. Thank you so much, guys, for joining, and thank you so much, Fred. I really do appreciate taking time to come on board today. So, do you want to say something before we call it a day?
Right. So I would, entreat everybody that, it's highly possible. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would have done it. Right. So if you really want to do it, it's highly possible. A lot of people have been through, and you are not an exception. You can also do this. So all that you need to do is to be confident, seek for the right information, and be determined that I really want to do it. There might probably be somebody out there who have gotten a couple of denials, have been to embassies, been denied a couple of times. You don't have to give up. There's always a way that for anybody, and the appropriate time will come where you also sail through. So remember to subscribe to the TFE YouTube channel. Like the videos that we show in there. Recommend this channel to someone else. Ask somebody to subscribe to the Timmy channel. Please ask people to subscribe. Recommend the channel. Right. Thank you for having me, Timmy, and I really appreciate this.
Thank you so much. So you heard it, people. You heard it. Don't give up. Persevere until you get what you want. That's the. I mean, that's the goal. You can't give up. You keep trying, and one day, I promise you, you get that testimony that you need. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to our channel, Timmy Fields TFE. Thank you so much for your support, guys. And it's bye from us for today. Take care. Bye.